Okay, we're back with part two of the Messianic Jewish Family Bible Tree of Life version, TLV. Reading through this week's reading is Genesis 5 through 10, and we are back. This is part two. Chapter 7, Deliverance through the Flood. Then Adonai said to Noah, "Come, you and your household, into the ark. For you only do I perceive as righteous before me in this generation." So Noah found favor in God's sight, and he and his family were the only ones that kept themselves clean and pure and following the Lord. Of every clean animal you shall take with you 7 of each kind, male and female, and of the animals which themselves are not clean, 2, male and female. Also the flying creatures of the sky, 7 of every kind, male and female, to keep offspring alive on the face of the whole land. For in 7 more days I am going to make it rain upon the land 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe out all existence that I made from the face of the ground. So Noah did all just as Adonai commanded him. So he was warning them that time was up. He was going to bring the rain within 7 days. Now Noah was 600 years old when the flood came. Now notice he was 500 years old when he fathered Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And now when the flood came, he's 600 years old. So there's 100 years there that took place before the actual flood came. Now Noah was 600 years when the flood came, water upon the land. So Noah, his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives entered the ark because of the flood waters. Of the clean animals and unclean animals, the flying creatures, and everything that crawls on the ground, 2 by 2, they came to Noah into the ark, male and female, just as God commanded Noah. After the 7 days, the flood waters were upon the land. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month, on this day, all the water sources of the great deep burst open, and the windows of the sky were opened. Then there was rain upon the land 40 days and 40 nights. On that same day, Noah, along with Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, Japheth, Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of Noah's sons with them, entered the ark. They and every animal according to its kind, and all the livestock according to its kind, and every crawling creature that crawls on the land according to its time, and every flying creature according to its kind, every bird, every winged creature. To Noah and into the ark they went by twos, all flesh in which was the spirit of life. Those that came, male and female, of all flesh, came just as God commanded him. Then Adonai shut him in. The ark door was closed. There was no one, nothing coming in once that was shut. The flood was 40 days upon the land, and the waters increased and lifted the ark, so that it rose above the land. The waters overpowered and became very mighty over the land, and the ark drifted on the surface of the water. The waters completely overpowered the land, so that all the high mountains beneath the entire sky were covered. The waters rose 15 cubits higher as the mountains were covered. All flesh perished, those that crawl on the land, the flying creatures, livestock, wild animals, all creatures that swarm upon the land, and all humankind. Everything that had the breath of the spirit of life in its nostrils, everything on dry land died. So he wiped out all existence that was upon the surface of the ground, everything from people to livestock to crawling creatures and to flying creatures of the sky. They were wiped out off the land. Only Noah and those with him in the ark survived. The waters overpowered the land for 150 days. Now I'm going to recap this and actually give you like the Hebrew months. I'm going to go through that and where they fall. Like when we do this these readings, where they're going to actually fall this year, and you'll see how that all works. Chapter 8. Then God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and all the livestock that were with him in the ark. So God caused a wind to pass over the land, and the waters subsided. Also, the sources of the deep and the windows of the skies were closed up, and the rain from the sky was held back. The waters kept receding gradually from upon the land, and the waters decreased by the end of 150 days. The ark came to rest in the 7th month, and the 17th day of the month, upon the mountain of Ararat, and that is spelled Ararat. The waters went on decreasing until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, the tops of the mountains appeared. It was at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark that he had made. Then he sent out a raven, and it kept going back and forth until the waters were drying up from the land. Then he sent out a dove to see whether the waters had receded from the surface of the ground, but the dove did not find a resting place for the sole of her foot. She returned to him in the ark, because water covered the surface of the whole land. He stretched out his hand, and he took her and brought her to him into the ark. So he waited yet another 7 days, and again he sent the dove out from the ark. The dove came to him at evening, and surprisingly a freshly plucked olive leaf was in its mouth. So no one knew that the waters had receded from the land. After he waited 7 more days, and he sent out the dove, but she did not return to him again. It was in his 601st year, in the 1st month, on the first day of the month, that the waters had dried up from the land. Then Noah removed the cover of the ark, and he looked, and behold, the surface of the ground had dried up. By the 2nd month, on the 27th day of the month, the land was dry. Noah's soothing sacrifice is the next subtitle. Then God spoke to Noah, saying, "Come out of the ark, you and your wife, your sons and your son's wife with you. Every animal that is with you, of all flesh, including the flying creatures, livestock, and every crawling creature that crawls on the land, bring out with you, and let them swarm in the land, and be fruitful and multiply upon the land." So Noah came out with his sons, his wives, his son, his wife, and his sons' wives. Every animal, every crawling creature, every flying creature, everything that crawls upon the land came out from the ark in their families. Then Noah built an altar to Adonai, and he took of every clean domestic animal and of every clean flying creature, and he offered burnt offerings on the altar. When Adonai smelled the soothing aroma, Adonai said in his heart, "I will never again curse the ground on account of man, even though the inclination of the heart of humankind is evil from youth. Nor will I ever again smite all living creatures as I have done." While all the days of the land remain, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will not cease. So this is a promise that God made, that he will never again destroy all of the earth and everything in the earth with water. Chapter 9, the covenant with Noah's descendants. God blessed Noah and his sons, and he said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the land." They needed to repopulate the land. "The fear and terror of you will be on every wild animal and on every flying creature of the sky, with everything that crawls on the ground, and with you all the fish of the sea. Into your hand they are given. Every crawling thing that is alive will be food for you, as you are as you are the green plants, as I have now given you." I'm sorry, I got to read that again. "Every crawling thing that is alive will be food for you, as are the green plants. I have now given you everything. Only flesh with its life, that is its blood, you must not eat. Surely your lifeblood will I avenge. From every animal and from every person will I avenge it. From every person's brother will I avenge that person's life. The one who sheds human blood, by a human will his blood be shed. For in God's image he made humanity." So he was already making us an establishment, thou shalt not kill, which is to come later. Spoiler alert. "But as for you, be fruitful and multiply, flourish in the land and multiply in it." Then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, "Now I behold, I am about to establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, including the flying creatures, the livestock, and every wild animal with you. Of all that is coming out of the ark, every animal of the earth, I will confirm my covenant with you. Never again will all flesh be cut off by the waters of the flood, and never again will there be a flood to ruin the land. Then God said, "This is the sign of the covenant that I am making between me and you and every living creature that is with you for all future generations. My rainbow do I place in the cloud, and it will be a sign of the covenant between me and the land. Whenever I bring clouds over the land and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant that is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all flesh. When the rainbow is in the cloud, I will look at it to remember the perpetual covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the land." Then God said to Noah, "This is the sign of my covenant that I have confirmed between me and all flesh that is on the land." So the covenant rainbow, this is God's. It belongs to no one else. And this is how the rainbow came about. So it isn't for any other reason that we have the rainbow. And it shouldn't be used for any other reason. Dispersion of Noah's family. Noah's sons who came out from the ark was Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Ham was the father of Canaan, which is spelled like the city of Canaan, Canaan. These three were Noah's sons, and from these the whole earth dispersed. Then Noah, a man of the soil, was the first to plant a vineyard. He drank some of the wine, got drunk, and was uncovered in his tent. Then Ham, Canaan's father, saw his father's private parts and told his two brothers outside. So Shem and Japheth took the cloak and laid it over both their shoulders and walked backwards, and with it covered their father's private parts. But their faces were turned away, so they did not see their father's private parts. When Noah woke up from his wine, he learned that what his youngest son had done to him. So he said, "Cursed is Canaan, the lowest slave will be to his brothers." He also said, "Blessed be Adonai, God of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth, may he dwell in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be his slave." Now Noah lived 350 years after the flood, so all Noah's days were 950 years. Then he died. Now, before I go on to read the final chapter that we're going to read today, I'm going to kind of recap here um, the the time frame, as far as the flood. And before I do that, I guess I am actually approaching 1330 on this counter, so I'm going to pause it and come back with a part 3.